What's up, guys? Today I'm going to make a sit and go video for pokerculture.com, and we're going to go through the basics on how to beat these games nowadays. This video is for you who is a beginning player that want to learn more about the game and want to start earning money every day playing poker. These games are really soft, and it's easy to make an extra buck grinding this out. As you see, this is just horrible how to play ace 10 there and become all in at from under the gun at these early levels. We'll start off with the basic strategy for the early levels. On the early levels, you have to play really tight. Of course, when you're in late position, you will steal now and then, but the basic strategy is playing really tight pre-flop and getting the best of it when you do get into a hand. I can also tell you a bit about myself and my background. I have played poker for over 15 years. I started before the poker boom, and I quickly learned the game and built my bankroll playing sit and goes. So back in the days, I was playing when there's no action at those tables anymore. Now it's the more action is for multi-table tournaments and cash games. But back then there was heavy action on sit and go. So I played multi-tabling $200 sit and goes 4 to 6 tables at a time, and I got one of the best win rates on PokerStars and in the world actually back then. Then of course I had to learn new games. I played a lot of cash games as well, and now it's mostly multi-table tournaments since there is no action like it was before on bigger sit and go games. But on pokerculture.com, I will teach out this strategy I've been using for the sit and goes, since there's still money to be made here on the lower levels. I don't play them myself anymore because it's too low stakes for me. But for you guys that want to learn and earning some extra bucks, I will teach you how to do it. And as you see, there's some heavy betting here, and there's really just whore play here, getting it in with Jack 10 and on this level. So there's good value here. This is what I look for actually. When you see plays like that, then you know there's value in the games. When people are getting it in really thin on the early levels. Here you should basically only playing the premium hands during the early levels of a sit and go tournament. Of course, you can get into some pots cheap to set mine with your lower pairs. But this is an example hand that most players at these tables won't fold ace 10. They think it's a good hand I want to play. But you shouldn't play that hand. You can fold so many hands, and here with the eights, this is this is borderline. Maybe I should have raised here and getting in with him, since I forgot it was a knockout. But it's not a good hand, and you easily put in a lot big chunk of your stack with these types of hands, and then you're out of the tournament. So on the early levels, I build my image, tight image, which I can use later on when we're close to the bubble. Then we can use it to our advantage that we have been playing real tight. And also, when we do play a hand, we often get action at these tables. People are playing way too many hands, and they are not folding in the way they should be. So playing tight here is the only way to do it. Of course, you can take advantage of some loose players now and then, but by playing really tight, you make it easy for yourself as well to beat these games. When you get in, you have the best hands during the early levels. Then on the end game, when there's like bigger blinds, then we can push more liberally and steal some blinds and do some things like that. But during the early levels, I cannot emphasize that enough. You should play really, really tight. And this is especially true when there is no ante in the game. Back in the days, PokerStars didn't have an ante during the early levels, so there was even more incentive to play super tight. Here I'll call off. We basically want to see what this guy is doing. Like by limping the first 1 or 2 times, then we can see how they adapt. If they like push like he did, then we of course will stop limping there. But if he allows us to do it and checking back, then we will start limping and try to stab at those pots with small bets. But now he's in, he pushed 1 time. I will probably try 1 more time and limp to see if he check backs. But if he keeps being aggressive, then we will give up that strategy and do it a tighter way. Here is like we have to raise here, and maybe we can getting it in with against this guy and gamble for a knockout price. Now we got like pot odds is 700 in the pot and it's 300 call, so we have to call here. And we got a bit lucky there, but yeah, there's nothing to think of when we got that great odds. And also please leave comments here on YouTube, and anything you think of, like why did you play that way, and or how do you treat this hand in that situation. It's just make comments and I'll answer all of them. We will make a small continuation bet here just to see where we stand. Get him to fold hands like ace x, ace, and maybe small pocket pairs even, but mostly ace x, which will call pre-flop with, he will fold there. So making a small stab, half the pot. Don't make too big bets here, since you have to always think about your stack size. And this is just a horrible hand, and I will preserve my chips in this spot. I don't say that a call here is horrible either, but yeah. Compared to a cash game, you want to preserve your chips. You want to have your chip stack ready when you get that big hand, and you don't want to splash around in all those small pots like you can do in a cash game. Like on a sit and go, you really want to preserve your chip stack so you can double up and get more chips when you do get a big hand. It's easily to get sucked into a lot of small pots, and then eventually you have lost like 30% of your stack or something without even having anything good to start with. So and as you see here now it's like 5 people left. We haven't done much yet. We've played like 1 hand or so. People are knocking each other out, and we're getting closer to the money positions. And this is what you want to see. Like then there's good value in the games, that people are knocking each other out and they're playing too many hands pre-flop. And that's a really important factor. In order to win money at poker, you don't need to be the best player at the table, the best player in the world. you need to like find games where people are playing worse than you. And when you're playing like this low limit sit and goes, then you will find plenty of fish. And also when you adapt my strategy and playing really tight during the early and middle levels, then you will easily get the best of it, since you're getting it in with so good hands. And here, of course, Ace King is a push. I would have actually pushed anyway. If they were folding, I would push to just put pressure on him and take the money pre-flop. And here we got a bit unlucky instead. But yeah, we got it in really good. Close to getting a second knockout prize, but it didn't work out that time. But this is just how we keep doing it, like getting it in good and betting. We'll try one more time, as I said. If he's pushing, yeah, then we know we can't do this limp and half bet pot strategy against him. Then we know that. But I always check out and see if they allow it 1 or 2 times, and now with 2 times we got the answer here that he doesn't allow it, so we won't limp anymore against him. And it's also important, like, to take notes if you play these games regularly, to take notes, then you know next time that you don't need to do this limp against him or try, then you know that he will push. So then maybe you can like limp a couple of aces or kings instead in the small blind, because you know that he will be really aggressive. So it's really important to pay attention to all hands, not only the hands that you are in. Like every hand, think about what ranges is possible for your opponents and how can you play them. Here ace 10, we can't really fold here. When he raises, he can have a solid hand. I haven't seen him raise that much, but we can't fold it either. So yeah, let's get it in again. And this time our hand holds up. And this time, as I said, we won't try limping anymore. And I haven't said so much about this table, but yeah, we're playing really tight, as you see, during the early levels, letting people knock each other out and waiting for the big hands to come. And as you see here, there's nothing fancy going on. It's not like trying to steal with poor hands. I just bide my time and wait for better opportunities. Of course, this hand is a bit too good to fold, so let's put in a raise here. And now he pushes and he calls. There's no way my hand is good here, so just let's fold it. And they were playing a bit looser than I thought. But yeah, one more player knocked out, and now we play the bubble. I was surprised by that 7-7 push. That's really aggressive when I raise under the gun and I play really tight, so I don't really expect a push with that poor hand. And now we are in the money. We haven't basically done anything. We have like played tight poker, solid poker, and now people have knocked each other out and we are in the money without doing anything. And now we can, playing for the money, and we haven't done so much for. A7 suited, this is a standard push here. I wouldn't like push all my hands automatically there, but all aces, all small pairs, king, queen. Yeah, hands like that. King, queen suited, of course, a really big hand, a strong hand here. It would be better if we had a little bit in our stack, then we could put more pressure on them when we push and like get something for free. But now we can just like call it off and see what happens. Yeah, we ended that tournament in third place and also got some knockout there. So a small win, not much, but we got the chance to in the money without doing so much. So that's good. So now let's focus on the next one. Now someone and here's something that's happened a lot. No, now we of course will push and try to battle for this money. But if they were only calling, I would have pushed also just to try to take the pot down before the flop. We don't want to trigger all the action. Like we are happy with winning pots pre-flop, taking the chips down. Now we got 2 calls and yeah, it was ended out good for us. And 2 people all in. I would have of course like call this guy or maybe did a small raise to get it all in heads up with him, but we won't call two all ins. Oh, here I noticed there's no knockout prize in this tournament, so I would not have called in with 5s even. Not with 2 people behind, then it just puts us in a messy spot. So I would have folded the 5s when there's no knockout prize. Like with this strategy, it's like both like an optimal strategy for playing this, and also it's like it's easy for you to play when you play the way I promote. Then you will get easier decisions because when you play really tight pre-flop during the early levels, then you also get easier decisions because when you raise, you almost always have a big hand when entering the pot, and then on the flop you have like more easy decisions to make, so it's easier to play really good poker. And as you have seen on these 2 games, it's just crazy how bad people are. They're just like splashing money in the pot and want to lose it. And it's also with this strategy, it's also easier to playing many tables, since if you're playing really tight pre-flop, then it of course gets easier playing more games. And by not starting all games at once, you can start them like 1 in 15 minutes or so. Then the games will be in different stages. So on some tables you can just sit there and fold and wait for the big hands, and on other tables where you got to a later stage, then you can put more focus there and make some plays. We will try the stabbing again, making a call and taking a stab at the pot if he allows us to. So let's see here if he shakes or not. Yeah, he shakes it back, and then we will make a small stab at the pot. Not a big bet, it's like less than half the pot, and if you bet half the pot, then it needs to work about half the time. So that is a play that works out really well for me, especially with the image, and I play real tight, and then they also give you some credit. King 10 on the bottom, and you can't sit out and just fold those hands. So we'll take a stab at it, making these small raises because it's the stack sizes makes it easy for them to push. So you don't want to make too big of a raises. I'll check this one back. See how that develops. Ace is a hand that he will often have in his range here. Of course, then maybe he will bluff me there now and then with smaller pairs, but you don't need to win every pot. You don't need to stab every time. Then they will get back at you. So like, show them some hands and don't bluff every time. And here's the same thing, like the last tournament actually. We're on the bubble. We have played like one strong hand where we doubled up, but not so much more. We've made a small steal there now and then, but not so much has happened, and now we're like playing the bubble. Here it's like 400 in the pot. So this, I like to steal this, and when he limps, he often got the poor hand. So we put the aggression on here and take it down. And here he called it off with 10 jack. I don't know really what he's doing, but now we're in the money again. And here's a hand like will just get you in a lot of weird spots, like calling or re-raising here, these stack sizes. We will find better spots, and that is not the hand to end our tournament with. Queen 10 suited on the bottom will make a small raise and try to play it since it's a good hand. The stack sizes are getting a bit small for us, so people have an easy choice to push. So if we would have got a little bit smaller stack, then I wouldn't have made this minimum raise. But with this stack, we can still try with these types of preflop raises. With a bit smaller stack, then we get to a like push or fold state. And here limps. He noticed me pushing one more time before when Sam was limping, so we will check this back and see how that develops. And he makes that small bet that I advocate myself. Yeah, we'll play tight here and give him that one instead of getting in really difficult spots. And we'll call here, and hopefully we'll get one more flop from him. But yeah, maybe we'll push here. Let's see. He gave us one more pot, and yeah, we'll make a stab at this one as we did last time. It works out again. If he had an ace pre-flop, he would probably always push, so I don't expect him to show up with an ace there. Of course, he can hit like a queen X sometimes, but and now let's give him one. We have been stealing from him 2 times, so that's something to think of. Like if you do the same play every time, then he will notice and pick it up. Um, it's probably not totally stupid. So give them, when you have been stealing a bit, then give them some pot now and then if you don't have a hand. And now we get the chance to get to heads up play. Yeah, and now we're heads up. So now we've made money in both our tournaments we did for this video. I will also make some more videos the coming weeks, like basic strategy videos where I go through the levels step by step. And we will try this play against him. See if it allows us to do the same. And I learned this play from a book, Dan Harrington's book. I read it a long time ago when he was talking about like make these half pot bet sizes on the flop. It needs to work 1 time out of 3 to break even, and as you have seen here, like it works way more often than that. You don't need to bet bigger. The bet gets same effect. And here we get king queen. We've been limping a lot against him, so I will do it one more time here and hope he will stab with something worse. Yeah, he didn't, unfortunately, but try to trap him there a bit to push with something worse. We'll just stab, push straight off here. If we make a small raise, it really looks like we have a big hand. So I'd rather do just as I would have done with like ace X, and that is just to push it straight off. So we make the same play there with queens and hope he had some ace X or something that he would probably would have called with. Or like all ace X and small players is like standard calls there if he pushes pre-flop. And queen 10, king jack, actually all those types of stuff. And we will like keep pushing here. We get good hands. He will call with worse, and the blinds are really high compared to our chip stack. That is a pretty loose call. I don't know really what he was doing there, but again we see value here. All players are making some mistakes. And this is a standard call with ace 9. He will push away worse hands, as you saw. We will check that one back to not be raised out of the pot. This is a tough one. I don't really put him on the ace. He can have an 8, of course, but yeah, we got 3 to 1 to the money. We will call here. We take a stab at this one. This is a bit tough actually, because I don't expect him to have anything here, and I don't know if he will play back or not. Raise here. He will like bet there all the time, and it's not that often that he got a jack, so and now the ship's axes are so big, so we will push here straight off with pocket fives. When we induce him to bluff here, but he didn't bite. I made a misclick there. I wanted to bet a bit smaller than 600. And with the ace, we will call the all-in here. If he pushes, he will push a lot of his range. try to slow play this one, and hopefully we'll push here, but yeah, he didn't. I'll actually make a call. You can be bluffing with some flush draws and straight draws and stuff. But no. Cheap bet. I didn't want to give him that for free. And there he won. But yeah, as you see, we got it in pretty good there several times, and we won money in both our two tournaments. If you want more tournaments, more videos, please subscribe to the channel and hit a thumbs up or make a comment, and I'll give you more. Thanks. Bye.